Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Pantheon game. Let's get this show on the road. And this one is a game with old friends. Yay! If you will remember some of them from videos from long ago, so it's kind of nice. Anyways, I love this skin on Pantheon. It's probably one of the coolest skins ever released in League, simply because it's a very simple and very cool. Now, we already fought these guys in the last game because it's just how cute some things work, and I knew this Teemo was going to try and invade me. When I was playing the Jarvan game, I crushed his invasion, but as Pantheon, I played that poorly. I should have dragged it away from that bush where I fought him to make it so Teemo wouldn't know where I was, and maybe give myself a chance to take the red buff before he was on me. Or I should have just waited in an ambush, but whatever, it didn't turn out so well. It's 4-3 right now. However, though, I'm going to equalize it because this Shen is a little too aggro, way more aggro than he should be, especially against, a Kennen and a Pantheon. Also, my E usage there was poor, but we still get the kill. It's like you're pushing up against a champion who can chain CC you against a jungler too that has really strong ganky potential. It's just you're asking to die. Now, a little bit of a sidetrack, but it's because I received a few comments from it in my last couple videos. Most people know what my voice checks were for in the past. They were because the audio and the footage couldn't be synced properly, so I needed some indicators as to when to make the cut. Now, I still technically need that, but now my editing software is better, so I can just make a seamless cut through with the voice checks and just remove it entirely. But some people, asked me, or a lot of people asked me, "Hey, Stonewall, we like that. It kind of added a little bit of a flair to your videos." So I kept it, but some people have been very adamant as to how it really bothers them, or because it's just this kind of inaudible sound they can't really understand, and it bothers them. But either way, I'll leave that for you guys to discuss in the comments as to whether or not I should just, finally remove them. By the way, though, that was just cool double gank there, and you could see some weird animation bugs that had been happening with Pantheon since the latest patch. Just sort of him staying in animation, only in replays, not exactly in the game. But yeah, so far I've been in the right place at the right time. With the worst results though. Just been getting myself killed, even though I should my counter ganking and whatnot have been mostly appropriate. Either way though, well, I'm just right now scouring the map, clearing wards, waiting for an opportunity to arise. I have my ultimate, so I can do some cool things. Bottom lane, where Teemo basically trapped himself. Yeah, Jungle Teemo ain't really a great jungler. It is a very trolly jungler and kind of funny in that aspect. But basically, if you ever get caught off guard, you have no real means of surviving, so you basically die. Here, I probably shouldn't have turned on Shen because my teammates wouldn't really be there to assist when I wanted to escape. I mean, they were able to save me, but it was very, very clutch moment there. The enemy team, though, basically followed me to their deaths when they probably didn't need to go that far. Once they scared me off and Shen wasn't out of position, they should have just accepted that. As a result, they kind of just got crushed there. It was not a smart decision they made, and it had, a ripple effect in their control of the jungle, or at least in the bottom lane jungle. Essentially, we were able to shove it out, and now I have been able to gain some dominance. Here, once again, I'm just sort of waiting for a gank to, present itself with my ultimate. So I'm hanging around bottom lane mostly because I know that the bottom laners are pushing and the Teemo seems to be gravitating towards it a lot. I jump in, slam from behind, not on top of them because I didn't know if I would get CC'd down by the Varus or something. So easily kill off the Zyra, honestly kind of a kill steal. Go after the Varus, and he gets shot down too by the Jhin. And then also, there's a murder-suicide by the Teemo and Yasuo there. So, needless to say, bottom lane is essentially carried and buried. And, at this point, it's kind of just a farm lane. We go down there, we'll farm the enemy champions. It's pretty good so far. Top lane, Kennen also just was able to dominate the Shen. It's kind of a no-brainer. Shen has a rough time against the Kennen, especially if the Kennen was able to get a leg up there in the early game due to a gank. We're basically winning all but mid lane. Mid lane isn't losing though, to make that clear. It's just, Yasuo kind of did other things that made it so mid lane just kind of didn't get, crushed. So mid lane in an essence, we won it, I guess, because our mid laner has been way more deadly and active, I guess. That's right. Anyways, once again, the Varus gets caught and killed and destroyed, and our mid laner goes a little ham down bottom lane. We're not able to kill the Zyra, and he's extremely out of position. But the only opponent he gets is a Teemo who basically face tanked that bush and got destroyed. We go after the Zyra, kill her too. Now the Wukong is here trying to do something, but to no avail. The Yasuo is still hanging about. Shen teleports in, and the Wukong screws up his ultimate so badly. I think he thought he got his E, and then he was going to chain it up with his ultimate, but instead it messed up really badly, made him a joke, and we were able to also kill the Shen out of that. So that was catastrophic for the enemy team. But again, this game still has 10 minutes, or this video has 10 more minutes to go, so it's not all rainbows and domination yet. So either way, though, we get the dragon, and it's pretty good. I was starting the Scuttle Crab, but I give it up because the enemy team is around there, and I probably couldn't be able to deal with a Teemo with some reinforcement, so I just left it. My mid lane is getting pushed in. I sure hope to save it. Pretty good so far. But their bottom lane and their top lane are just kind of forced to do whatever they want. Varus, for whatever reason, was just kind of hanging about because he was doing that whole "I'ma poke you with my Q." So I jumped. You saw me jump him and chunk him, and he lost basically a lot of his health and was forced to use his flash. Situations like that, like again, I always say it's a pet peeve of mine. When you go in for like some minor harass or something which has a huge amount of risk of backfiring you, it's just not worth it. And yet some people try it because they feel that not taking action is wrong. So this is a thing from like shooters or in like a different MOBA like Heroes of the Storm, which was a valid strategy, or how Overwatch is a good example too. Sometimes the best thing to do is to do nothing, to wait until the opportunity presents itself, or for everyone to be available, because everyone else is a resource you need to use, or else it just goes really badly for you. In the case of like that Varus there, I know I'm kind of like hanging up on a lot on it, but it's a thing that happens in a lot of games, where players just sometimes need to wait for their teammates to show up or wait for something else to happen, because if you just try to force something to happen, it goes badly. And junglers know this, when they feel that their lanes are just nothing's going on, all you're doing is just warding and farming, so they try to force a gank and it goes really badly for them. Sometimes just be patient. Just because nothing is happening doesn't mean nothing is happening, right? So it happens a lot with like laners who just demand a jungler to come in and just dominate the lane for them. It's like, yo, jungler hasn't done anything. Well, sometimes nothing is better than just dying. I'm hung up on it, but it happens a lot, especially in lower divisions where just players seemingly throw for no reason. Anyways, we go for a fight here. I catch Zyra from behind, slam her and bam her, and she gets picked off, right, I believe? No, she survives. We turn our attention to the Teemo, who just constantly in weird positions, though he does kill the Yasuo, so at least that's a good thing for him. Though we end up taking the tower. Tia Cannon comes from behind, easily destroys the enemy team, or at least kills the Varus, and the other one scampers off like a wounded animal. And thus we're able to push for the inhibitor. Here, the poor little Teemo is trying his best to defend it. I don't know if he's trolling with these Teemo picks or he's just legitimately playing, but it does seem like he's trying, just seemingly doesn't understand what to do in the jungle. The Wukong at this point, you can tell he's super mega tilted, considering what he said in all chat, and as a result, he's making some odd plays because he really wants his revenge. You can't really see it here, but he was earlier in the game. You can actually roll back and see how he's been chasing the Yasuo super hard because he wants his vengeance. And again, getting tilted, getting angry is one of the worst things you can do in a game. Though, I mean, sometimes it can help you play better because you want to try harder, but generally just getting all sorts of crazy angry doesn't help. It just makes you lose more, which inevitably makes you go even angrier, or get angrier and go more crazy. Here, the enemy team kind of made a really bad decision to fight us because they were ill-prepared for it. They were in really separate positions, and they were not at full health, so essentially it made them very easy pickings. And there you can finally say, hey, Stonewall learned to throw his Q as Pantheon, because it's been pretty great. I've been able to get some good chunks there. Jump in onto the What you call it? The Varus again, easily destroy him. At this point, the Varus might as well not exist in this game. He's just here to die. We push for the inhibitor turret, but the enemy team joins up. Right now, their biggest threat, the one I'm taking the most seriously, is the Zyra. Even though her kill spread isn't glorious, and obviously, the rest of some of the enemy team is also threatening, I think the Zyra has the best potential at stopping us, because you can see that that Yasuo and I have been very aggressive jumping in the fray. A good Zyra E followed with a good, well placed ultimate from her can knock us asunder. And right now, Yasuo and me are the most godly players on my team, which is super, super strong. Not to say that the Kennen and the Jhin can't absolutely dominate. It's just my team's only real front line is very fragile. And if we go in properly, we'll wipe them out. But if we go about it improperly, or they get us in a good, crowd control, we'll fall apart real quickly. We'll just melt, and then the rest of my team will be easy pickings. Unless the Kennen gets a god tier ultimate. It doesn't matter how many we have, it'll probably just win the game for us. So yeah, that's how it is right now. Here I'm hesitant to do the Baron, mostly because they have the means of a Shen arriving, and then it going really badly with a Wukong ultimate, and it kind of does. We were in such a poor position, we were uncoordinated in that situation, and it allowed us to get absolutely giga-wrecked, and they were able to get a Baron off of this. So we're in a little bit of a bad situation, bad tidings right now. Ooh. So, yeah, I still do think, though, their team comp is poor, kind of. Not exactly worse, it's mostly kind of the Teemo. He is farmed, though, so that's the thing. But other than a good Wukong initiation, they don't have much going for them to, well, Wukong initiation followed by Varus is their best bet. But in the means to deal with, a Pikachu going by the side and absolutely melting them, I don't really think they have much, except perhaps a Zyra. But if Zyra does something to the Kennen, then the Yasuo and me will probably just go in there and, wreck face. So they're in a bad situation, but not as bad as it could be. My team comp ain't all that perfect either, but considering how big we got during the lane phase, we were basically able to negate that. So it's good. We catch the Shen a little bit off guard, and then Zyra there to keep him from getting himself killed again. And then Yasuo goes in right on the Zyra, burning his ultimate. Not really able to kill her, so he's forced to retreat. However, I go in on the Teemo, which Shen pops his ultimate on top of him, though I still managed to kill him. And it's kind of a good thing. It's a lot of resources were burned very quickly, and they decided to, focus on the wrong target, the Jhin, leaving me and the Yasuo alive to just kind of, melt them. This is basically what I've been talking about throughout this whole game, where the Yasuo and I are super strong, way stronger than the rest of, our team. That if they just don't control us, they don't defend themselves against us, we're just going to slap them and win the game. And again, you got to see that for several times already. That last one was really bad because they started that fight in a rather even footing and lost it simply because for a couple seconds they chose to ignore the Yasuo. And you just don't do that. Anyways, though, pretty standard cookie cutter build. In this case, I took the Maul Memortius simply because they've got quite a bit of AP and, annoying stuff. So I had to do that against the Teemo at least. Teemo, again, not the most threatening jungler in the game, but if he gets fed or farmed enough, eventually he'll be a nuisance, right? So, anyways, I go in with my ultimate to try to catch somebody. I end up dodging Varus' ultimate by just immediately jumping to the Zyra. Kennen comes in, doesn't really get anything off, but is able to sort of, force them away from the fight. We got one kill though, and then Shen goes in kind of a bad dash, but Wukong's follow-up is pretty good. Unfortunately for him, again, the Yasuo is super deadly and deals high damage. Unfortunately for me, I went in way too ham and got melted. Then, this kind of just destroys the rest of their team. It's not good. They were kind of fortunate that they were able to kill me and the Yasuo, the heaviest hitters, but the rest of the team still lives. They're still threading on their own at this point. So yeah, I am trying to kind of. You can talk about this how you feel like, but I think right now the best bet, the only bet they have, is a really good Wukong flank followed by a Varus ultimate, and hopefully the Zyra gets a good AoE going too. And that's how I think they'll win. It's a long shot, but right now it's bad. And you know the worst part about it, their long shot can get absolutely destroyed by a really good Janna ultimate. So it's just super dire, super dire. Jump in with my ultimate from the side, get on the Zyra immediately. Again, I consider her the biggest threat, so easily knock her out, and the rest of them just crumble from then on. Pretty good, and the game is done. I like this one better than last time. It was definitely in our favor throughout most of the game, but it wasn't completely because of dumb plays from the enemy team, though there were obviously dumb plays there. We capitalized on our advantage and just snowballed from then on as a team.